There's a spiritual truth no one wants to hear, but you need to understand if you want to stop fighting your own financial destiny. Not everyone is aligned for wealth in the same way. And this has nothing to do with merit, effort, or faith. It has to do with purpose. It has to do with calling. It has to do with the specific mission God has placed in your life. And when you understand this, when you stop copying the path of others and start walking in your own alignment, everything changes. Money stops being a struggle and becomes a natural consequence. So if you're tired of forcing, imitating, trying to fit into a mold that isn't yours, this message will set you free once and for all. The lie everyone believes about wealth. Let's start by destroying a lie that has kept you trapped for years. The lie is this: if I do what so-and-so did, I'll have what so-and-so has. You see someone thriving by doing something specific, and you think, that's it, that's the way to go. Then you copy, you imitate, you follow the step-by-step instructions, and it doesn't work. It works a little, but never to the same extent, never with the same ease, never with the same result. And you ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? Nothing. You're not doing anything wrong. The problem is not execution. The problem is alignment, because the path that works for someone else may not be the right path for you. Let me give you a very simple example. Imagine two trees. One is a coconut palm, the other is an apple tree. The coconut palm grows in sandy soil near the sea, with plenty of sun and little fresh water. Apple trees grow in cool climates, in rich soil, with consistent rainfall. Now imagine the apple tree looks at the coconut tree and thinks, wow, it's producing so much fruit. I'm going to do the same. Then the apple tree tries to plant itself in the sand. It tries to live with little water. It tries to withstand the scorching heat. And what happens? It withers, it suffers, it produces nothing. Not because it is inferior to the coconut tree, but because she's in the wrong environment trying to be something she wasn't raised to be. And that's exactly what you do when you try to copy someone else's path without considering your own spiritual alignment. You were created with a unique spiritual DNA, with a unique frequency, with a unique purpose. And the path that leads you to abundance is not the same path that leads someone else to it. There may be similarities, there may even be universal principles, but the details, the timing, the form, the method are different. And when you try to force someone else's path, you lose your own alignment. And when you get out of alignment, you block the flow. And when you block the flow, you struggle, you burn out, you get frustrated. And worse, you start to think that the problem is you, that you're not capable, that you're not good enough, that you weren't made to thrive. But that's not it. You were just standing on the sand trying to be an apple tree. And the first truth you need to accept in order to align with your own wealth is this: your path will be different from anyone else's. And that's okay. You don't need to copy, you need to discover. You don't need to imitate, you need to align. And when you stop looking outside and start looking inside, you discover something revolutionary. God has already placed within you everything you need to prosper in your own way. You were just too busy trying to be someone else to realize it. Why do some people prosper by doing little, while others struggle by doing a lot? Now let's talk about something that bothers everyone, but that no one has the courage to admit. Why do some people prosper doing so little, while you work twice as hard and can barely pay the bills? Have you noticed this? There are people who work 4 hours a day and earn $50,000 a month. And there are people who work 12 hours a day and earn $3,000. And the first reaction is, that's unfair. But it's not unfair, it's alignment. The person who thrives by doing little isn't doing little. They are doing exactly what they were designed to do. And when you're aligned, you don't need effort, you need flow. Let me explain this to you in a way you'll never forget. Imagine a river. When you swim with the current, you move fast with little effort. When you swim against the current, you exhaust yourself and barely make any progress. Same person, same water, completely different result. Why? Direction. And that's exactly what happens in your financial life. When you are aligned with your purpose, with your frequency, with the path that God has designed for you, you are swimming with the current. And then things flow. Doors open. Opportunities appear. Money comes with less effort. But when you're out of step, doing what you think you should do, or what someone told you to do, or what seems logical, you're swimming against the current. So, no matter how hard you try, no matter how many hours you work, you'll always be fighting. And fighting doesn't create wealth. Alignment does. Now, the question you must be asking yourself is, okay, but how do I know if I'm aligned or not? Simple. Pay attention to these signs. Signs that you are misaligned. You work very hard, but the results don't come in proportion to your efforts. You feel exhausted all the time, even when you're making money. You feel like you're living someone else's life, not your own. You deeply envy those who prosper easily. You need to push yourself every day to do what you do. You feel a void even when you achieve financial goals. Signs that you are aligned. The work flows naturally, even when it's challenging. The right opportunities appear at the right time. You feel energized doing what you do, not exhausted. Money comes as a natural consequence, not as a struggle. You feel like you're in the right place, even when the results are still small. You have inner peace, even on difficult days. Do you notice the difference? Alignment doesn't mean it will be easy. It means it will make sense. Misalignment doesn't mean you won't make money. It means you'll pay a high emotional and spiritual price for every penny, and many rich people are completely out of sync. That's why they have money, but no peace. They have success, but no purpose. They have full bank accounts, but empty lives, because wealth without alignment is a gilded prison. So the question isn't, how do I get rich? The right question is, how do I get rich the right way, the right path, in alignment with who I truly am? And when you ask that question, everything changes, because you stop chasing money and start attracting the money that's meant for you. You stop accepting just any opportunity and start recognizing the aligned opportunities. You stop copying and start creating your own path. And then, finally, you understand why some people thrive doing little. They're not doing something half-heartedly. They're doing the right thing. The 3 types of financial alignment, and which one is yours. Now let's delve even deeper, because there is no single financial alignment. There are at least 3 main types. And understanding what yours is will completely change the way you approach money. Most people spend their entire lives trying to force a kind of alignment that isn't theirs, and that's why they suffer. So pay attention. Type 1, the builder. The builder is the one who has been aligned for build empires from scratch. This person isn't content with a salary, they aren't content with stability, they need to build something. The builder feels a deep restlessness whenever he is in passive positions. He needs to be in command, he needs to be creating, he needs to be expanding. Examples of builders: entrepreneurs, company founders, investors, product creators, visionary leaders. How the builder prospers: taking calculated risks, creating systems that generate passive income, leading teams and projects, innovating and testing new things, scaling what works. How the builder fails: trying to have job security with a stable position, following other people's orders for too long, avoiding risks for fear of losing, always doing the same thing without innovating. If you're a builder in a traditional job, you'll feel like you're dying inside. It doesn't matter how much you earn, you'll feel like you're wasting your life, because the builder wasn't made to fit, he was made to create. And when he tries to fit in, he completely blocks the flow of abundance that was designed for him. If you identified with the builder, your mission is clear. Build something of your own, even if you start small, but build something. Type 2, the strategist. The strategist is the one who has been aligned to optimize systems that already exist. He doesn't necessarily want to create something from scratch. He wants to take something that already works and make it work better, faster, and more profitably. The strategist is brilliant at analysis, planning, and refined execution. He sees patterns that others don't. He identifies bottlenecks and creates solutions. Examples of strategists: consultants, financial analysts, senior managers, technical specialists, performance coaches. How the strategist thrives, working in positions of high responsibility, solving complex problems, optimizing processes and systems, being paid for expertise, not time, working with companies and people who value strategy. How the strategist fails, accepting low-value operational jobs, being treated as an executor instead of a thinker, not charging what your expertise is worth, staying in environments that do not value strategic intelligence. If you're a strategist and you're doing repetitive operational work, you're completely out of touch. You were made to think, not to perform manual labor. And when you accept positions below your strategic level, you lock in your wealth. If you identified with the strategist, your mission is position yourself as an expert. Charge for what you know, not for what you do. Type 3. The connector. The connector is the one that has been aligned to connecting people, ideas, and opportunities. He is not necessarily the creator or the strategist, but he is the link that makes everything happen. The connector thrives on relationships. He knows everyone. He knows who needs whom. He opens doors. He creates opportunities for himself and others. Examples of connectors: networkers, high-ticket salespeople, influencers, mediators, agents, representatives. How the connector thrives, building genuine relationships, being a reference in specific niches, facilitating business deals and partnerships, creating value through access and trust, being paid for connection and influence. How the connector fails, working alone, isolated, trying to be technical when your strength lies in relationships, not valuing your connections, focusing only on the product and forgetting about the people. If you are a connector and you are trying to build it on your own, you are fighting against your own design. You weren't made for loneliness. You were made for connection. And the richness of connector comes precisely from the bridges it builds between people. If you identified with the connector, your mission is cultivate relationships strategically. Your network is your fortune. And now, the most important question: which of the three are you? Or rather, which of the three have you been trying to be but aren't? Because most people are trying to be the wrong type. The builder is trying to be a strategist because it seems safer. The strategist trying to be a builder because it seems more glorious. The connector trying to be a builder because it looks more impressive. And everyone suffers because they are out of alignment. When you discover what your true type is, not what you think you should be, but what you truly are, everything becomes clearer. You stop fighting against yourself. You stop envying the path other people take, and you begin to walk the path that was made for you. Why God doesn't want everyone to be rich in the same way. Now we're going to delve into an even deeper truth. And this truth will shock many people, but it needs to be said: God doesn't want everyone to be rich in the same way. And He doesn't want everyone to be rich at the same level. And that's not injustice, it's spiritual design. Let me explain why. If everyone were a billionaire, no one would be a billionaire, because billionaires only exist in contrast. If everyone were an entrepreneur, there would be no one left to execute. If everyone were a leader, there would be no one left to follow. If everyone had the same level of wealth, there would be no economy. There would be no exchange. There would be no value. The world functions because there are different levels, different roles, different alignments. And that doesn't mean some are better than others. It means that each one has a specific function in the grand plan. Think about the human body. Is the heart more important than the liver? No, but they have different functions. Is the brain superior to the lungs? No, but it operates on different levels. They are all essential. They are all valuable, but they all have unique roles, and the same goes for wealth. Some people are destined to manage millions, others to manage thousands, others to live with sufficiency and simplicity. And none of these realities is spiritually superior or inferior. What matters is not how much you have, it's whether you are aligned with the purpose for which you have it. Some people have been called to be billionaires because their mission requires resources on a gigantic scale. Some people are called to live simply because their mission demands detachment and lightness. And both are fulfilling God's purpose perfectly. The problem begins when 1. You envy the other person's alignment instead of seeking your own. If you were set up to live peacefully on $20,000 a month but become obsessed with having millions like so-and-so, you're going to lose your alignment. And even if you get millions, you won't have peace because it's not meant for you. 2. You judge the other person's alignment based on your own. Some people look at those who live simply and think that person has no ambition. And there are people who look at someone who has millions and think that person is greedy. But neither of them is right, because each one is aligned with their own perspective. 3. You force an alignment that isn't yours due to external pressure. Society tells you that you need to be rich. Your family is pressuring you to be financially successful. Social media constantly shows you luxury, and you start chasing something that has nothing to do with your true calling. And then you achieve it, but you feel nothing because it wasn't meant for you. So here is the liberating truth. You don't need to be rich like so-and-so. You need to be prosperous in your own alignment. And prosperity in its alignment can be $10,000 per month with free time and peace, or $100,000 per month with purpose and impact, earning $1 million per month with responsibility and leadership. There is no universally correct answer. There is a right answer for you. And when you stop comparing yourself to others and start seeking your own alignment, you discover something incredible. You no longer want other people's wealth. You want your own, and it's perfect for you. Let me give you a real example. There are people who earn $50,000 a month and are unhappy because they are trapped in a job they hate. And there are people who earn $8,000 a month and are at peace because they are doing what they love. Which of the two is more prosperous? It depends on the alignment. If the $50,000 bill is out of balance, it signifies spiritual poverty. If the $8,000 bill is aligned, she is spiritually rich. Spiritual wealth always precedes sustainable material wealth. So the big question is not, how do I become a millionaire? The big question is, what level of wealth aligns with my purpose? And how do I get there without losing my soul in the process? When you answer that honestly, everything changes. You stop chasing fantasies, stop copying influencers, and you begin to build the wealth that is truly yours. Signs that you are trying to force an alignment that is not yours. Now I'm going to give you practical signs that you're forcing a path that isn't right for you, because many people know this theoretically, but don't recognize it in practice. So pay attention. If you identify with 3 or more of these signs, you are out of alignment. Sign 1. You admire someone financially, but envy that person's life. There's a huge difference between admiration and envy. Admiration is, "That's so cool what so-and-so built. That inspires me." Envy is, "Why does so-and-so have it and I don't? That's unfair." When you feel deep envy towards someone, it's not because you want what that person has. It's because you think you should have what she has, but through her own path, and that's a clear sign of misalignment. Because if it were the right path for you, you would be admiring it, not envying it. Sign 2, you feel exhausted even when you are making money, 45. If you work, you earn money, but you feel like you're dying inside. You're out of alignment, because aligned work tires the body, but energizes the soul. Misaligned work tires the body and empties the soul. If you reach the end of the month with a full bank account but an empty heart, something is wrong. And it's not about the money, it's about the journey. Sign 3. You need to convince yourself every day that you are on the right track. When you're aligned, you know, you feel it. You don't need constant external validation. But when you're out of alignment, you constantly wonder, is this really it? And you're constantly seeking confirmation. You read books, you watch videos, you ask everyone, because deep down, you know it's not. Sign 4. You copy strategies that work for others, but don't work for you. You take the course, you follow the step-by-step instructions, you execute everything perfectly, and it doesn't work, or it only works halfway. And you blame yourself. You think you did wrong, that you didn't try hard enough. But that's not it. The problem is that strategy isn't aligned with your frequency. What works for the builder doesn't work for the connector. What works for the strategist doesn't work for the builder. Sign 5. You feel guilty when you are not producing or earning money. 27:15-28 soon. If you can't rest without feeling guilty, if you feel you always need to be producing in order to be valued, you are operating out of alignment. Because alignment includes rest. It includes pauses. It includes moments of not producing. When you only feel valuable through production, you're not aligned. You're addicted to external validation. Sign 6. You have results, but you don't feel fulfilled. 28:2-28:30. You hit the target, you close the deal. You earned the money, and he felt nothing. Or he felt it for 2 hours, and then the emptiness returned. This is the clearest sign of all. You're acquiring things that are not meant for you. If you identified with 3 or more of these signs, here's the truth. You're on the wrong track. It doesn't matter how many results you get. And the good news is, you can change, you can realign, but this requires courage. Because sometimes it means letting go of what's working to pursue what truly makes sense. And many people don't have that courage. So they remain trapped in a life that isn't theirs. You're not going to be that person. How to discover your true financial alignment. Now comes the practical part. How do you discover what your true financial alignment is? Here are the questions you need to answer with complete honesty. Question 1. What did you do as a child that allowed you to be in a state of complete flow? When you were a child, before you were taught what you should do, what did you do naturally? Did you assemble things? Builder. Did you solve problems and puzzles? Strategist. Did you gather people together and organize games? Connector. Your inner child shows you who you are without social conditioning. And generally, what you did naturally at age 7 is what you should be doing at age 37. Question 2. When do you feel most alive? Not when you're most comfortable, when you're more vivo. Is this when you are creating something from scratch? Is this when you're solving a complex problem? Is this when you are connecting people and creating opportunities? This answer shows you where your natural flow is. And where your cash flow is, that's where your money is aligned. Question 3. What do people naturally ask you for help with? Do people ask you to create things? Are you being asked to solve problems? Are they asking you to connect them with someone? What others naturally see in you is a reflection of your gift, and your gift always points towards your financial alignment. Question 4. Where do you feel uncomfortable even when you're earning money? There are jobs that pay well, but you hate doing them. Where is this discomfort for you? If you hate routine and repetition, you are not an operational strategist. If you hate relationships and networking, you're not a connector. If you hate taking risks, you're not a builder. Discomfort shows you where you are, No, it should be, even if it pays well. Question 5. If money were no object, what would you be doing? This is the most revealing question of all. If you had all the money you needed, how would you spend your days? The answer lies in your true alignment, and the irony is that when you do that, when you follow what you truly want, the money comes. Because you are in alignment. Answer these 5 questions with brutal honesty, and you'll discover something you may have already known, but were ignoring. You know exactly what you should be doing. You just haven't had the courage to admit it until now. Block 7. What to do when you discover you are completely misaligned. And what if, after all this, you discover that you're completely out of alignment? Have you built your entire life on the wrong path? Did you invest years in a direction that isn't right for you? Here's what you do. 1. Don't panic. You haven't wasted time. You've gained clarity. Every wrong path teaches you something about the right path. You didn't waste years. You eliminated options. Now you know what no it is, and that brings you closer to what. 2. Don't throw everything away at once. Make the transition wisely. You don't have to drop everything tomorrow. You can begin building what is aligned while still maintaining what is misaligned. Make the transition gradually, test it, validate it, and when the new system is sustainable, you can let go of the old one. Wisdom is not impulsiveness, it's strategy. 3. Forgive yourself for taking so long to realize. You did the best you could with the conscience you had. Now you are more aware, so you can do better. But don't blame yourself for the past. Be grateful that it brought you to where you are today. 4. Act. Even if you're afraid, even without guarantees. Discovering alignment is useless if you don't act on it. You will be afraid. You will have doubts. You will want guarantees. But there will be no guarantee. You will only have faith, and faith is acting before seeing. So take action, take the first step, even a small one, but take action, because the universe only moves when you move. Not everyone is aligned for wealth in the same way, and that's not a limitation. It's liberation, because when you stop trying to be someone you're not and start being who you truly are, everything changes. Money stops being a struggle, and it becomes a natural consequence of alignment. So stop copying, stop forcing, and discover the path that is truly yours.